with you. I just filmed a week ahead reading for the collective as well. So let's just see what the month ahead lies for the collective for May 2025. I hope your day is going well and you're enjoying the weather wherever you are. It's spring in New York, so I'm enjoying it. The weather is about close to 70 degrees. But let's see. Got daydream. Spiritual bath and defense mechanism. I feel like with that, it's just saying let your spirituality, let your faith be your line of defense. That's what came to mind. Anything else? And vacate. Let's see. I have my crystals here, or my stones, charging, but also to hold because it is kind of windy today. So I was like, let me be sure to bring some crystals for myself so that if it does get too windy, I have something to hold the cards down. So I'm just shifting them. I also was trying to charge them. Okay, this here. Just want to make sure that they're safe. Okay, at the bottom of the deck we have secrets. So there may be some secret information that you're going to be learning about this month. It may be about, it could be about anything. It could be possibly one of your secrets coming out, or maybe you sharing the secret with someone. Who knows? A daydream. Use your spirituality, your faith as your line of defense. Daydream is usually about fantasizing, illusions. It could be about maybe you're thinking about what you want in the future. You're probably thinking about different scenarios when it comes to certain situations. But with the defense mechanism and spiritual bath coming out, I feel like if it's something that you're like something that comes up this month that you're not sure how to address or move forward with, something that may be out of your hands. I feel like what it is asking for you to do is take a break from worrying, from being anxious, take a break from stressing over something that you have no control over, and let your faith be what guides you, and be what you turn to. You know, like, you don't have to actually do anything yourself, because some things, like I mentioned, are beyond your control. And sometimes when you try to take certain things into your control, it can make things worse instead of better. So maybe what this is asking of you is to, if there is a situation that happens in the month of May, it's asking for you to let things play out the way they're meant to. And if there are if there is anything that you can do that is within your control, then that's what you know, use. God, I'm having a hard time saying this. Just do anything that's within your control. That's what you work with. You know, that's what you try to change and on your end. But if it's anything like having to do with anybody else, anything that's external to you, outside of you, don't try to change that. Only make changes that you can make with your own actions, your own reactions. You know, take a break from trying to control certain situations or trying to move them in a certain way. I don't know if you hear the water. That sounds so nice, and it's so windy too, because it's the clouds are here, the water. A boat passed by, you know, and I'm getting distracted. So also be aware of any distractions too. But maybe you need to put yourself in a situation where you are grounding yourself in nature, because this is very helpful. It's very relaxing, it's soothing. You hear the birds, you smell the plants, you hear water. If you can be near water, that could be something good for you. Some of you may be actually going on a vacation. You may actually be taking a break because you have been in, or you're planning to or you're considering, because you have been going through something that has been a bit stressful, and that may be some way or a way that you can reconnect with yourself and ground yourself. Intimacy along with that, you know. Maybe some of you are going on a vacation with a partner. Maybe there's something going on within your relationship this month that may be asking for you and your partner to come together. Maybe going on vacation will allow you to reconnect with each other, disconnect from any interferences like work, stress, family issues, anything, if it's possible. I noticed that there's a card stuck in the box. What is this? Oh, it's new outlook. New outlook. Yeah, and it's funny, I was talking about like you taking a break and stuff, because, you know, sometimes when you're only seeing things like for what they are and not being able to look at things from a different perspective, it really can play a part in how you interact or react in certain situations, you know, because you're just looking at things from a surface level perspective rather than at a deeper level, you know. So maybe the daydream part can be you maybe escaping into your mind, your fantasies, illusions, and stuff like that. But also, you know, when you're daydreaming, that's another way of you trying to problem solve or come to some sort of solution when it comes to an issue, you know, especially one that's beyond your control, you know. Yeah. It's funny because it's your time for a out. So maybe it's your time to take a vacation. Maybe it's your time to take a break. It's your time to like reconnect with yourself. I like this because underneath that, I gotta be careful because I do not want my cards to fly away. You have unexpected blessings and good news. Yeah, because, you know, sometimes when we try to hold on to control over certain situations, it kind of creates blockages that don't really allow things to flow naturally or progress naturally or smoothly. And I think that you taking a break from stressing, overwhelmed, trying to control a situation, maybe allow your daydream, allow your imagination to take center stage rather than in a healthy way, not in a delulu type of way, but more in a healthy way where, you know, you're able to remain hopeful. Maybe imagine, like, if there is a certain outcome that you want, you can think about, okay, you know, if this turns out that way, you know, how would I react? How would it be? You know, what would I do? How can I keep it? Because sometimes when we're trying to manifest something, we're so happy to have it, but then eventually it's like, oh yeah, I got it. What's next? You know, you don't really get to take the time to appreciate it and be grateful for receiving it. So maybe that's something that you have to consider too, for the month ahead. You know, but like when it comes to a relationship too, maybe like if there is a relationship that you're in and, you know, it's been stressful, it's been maybe it's time for you to take a break. You could take a break together, like go on vacation, go on a weekend getaway, just do something together where you can reconnect and, you know, rebuild that intimacy, allow yourself to, you know, get a different outlook on your relationship and where you want to take it, especially if you've been in a relationship where you're not really sure how it's going to progress, and if you wanted to progress into like the next stage, if you want to go into moving in together, it's your time. You know, is it that time? You know, is it the time to consider marriage? Is it the time to consider even breaking up? You know, it depends on your situation, but there's going to be some sort of unexpected blessing. It could be within the relationship or outside of it, you know, but it's really asking for you to not really hold on to control over things that are beyond your control, and remain positive and hopeful in a healthy way, because I don't do toxic positivity, you know, because you have to be realistic in this world, you know, in this life. I feel like I'm going to leave the reading there, you know, unless you want tarot. I could, like, clarify, you know. So, yeah, so if you got the message you need to hear, you could, you know, thank you for watching. I'm going to go into tarot to clarify for those who want clarification. And I'll see you next time. Alright, so for those who want clarification with tarot, it my leg is falling asleep. So I'm gonna like pause the video and then come back. Okay, collective, I'm back. I can feel my legs again. Alright, so we're gonna clarify the daydream card. Two of Pentacles. It has to do with balance. Balancing your finances, balancing your resources, and maybe even balancing your emotions and being more grounded. Then the Ace of Wands is about a new beginning, a new creative, passionate beginning. You know, something that you've been imagining, maybe daydreaming about. Okay. We got the Chariot with the Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles. Chariot, moving forward with an investment, moving forward with putting effort towards something. Okay, putting effort towards something, moving, charging ahead, conquering the next thing. Okay, I'm talking out loud. With the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom, that's for daydream. Pentacles, balancing, taking action towards investment, being grounded. Conservative. Okay, so some of you, like, alright, if it's daydream, you could be thinking about some type of endeavor that involves finances. It could be about a business idea, that you came up with, something that you really care about or passionate about. But it's asking for you to be a bit more grounded in how you want to move forward with this, because with the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, that has to do with the passion, the growth, the beginning of something that can grow, right? It's the first. Basically, it's the idea, the inception, the passion. So whatever like fiery energy you have towards whatever this idea is asking for you to be grounded, especially when it comes to finances or your resources. When you move forward towards it, move forward towards taking actions, but you have to be very grounded, decisive, very careful, do a lot of research. Though it's the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is someone who takes his time. Maybe some of you may feel like you're being a little bit lazy, because, you know, that's another word I added for the Knight of Pentacles, because they usually say the Knight of Pentacles is a slow knight, but I think that the Knight of Pentacles is very methodical, doesn't take unnecessary risks, like the Knight of Swords or the Knight of Wands. They tend to be a little bit more risky with their actions, and I think the Knight of Pentacles can be someone who's very careful with their approach with something. They try to make sure they're making the right moves, that they're putting their resources towards something that can grow into something larger, you know, will allow them to try to become the King of Pentacles and ultimately an emperor in some way. But I feel like maybe some of you need to get off your ass and stop being lazy. You know, yeah, you have the idea, you may be hemming and hawing, like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? You know, that could be you. But what it's asking is like, no, just take some action, take certain actions. Don't overthink it. You know, don't let the whatever motivation you get or the inspiration you get to die down, because then eventually you're gonna have to wait for that spark to reignite for you to want to move forward. So I feel like with the Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles is asking for you to be a little bit more assertive and take some action. Just get started with something. Okay. Now with the defense mechanism is spiritual path. What's that? We got the King of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the defense mechanism is spiritual path. It's like allowing your faith to be your line of defense. Also to go within, and meditate, reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your higher self, and your faith, reconnect with your faith, whatever faith you practice, and it doesn't have to be a religion, it could just be a spiritual practice that you have. But I feel like, I think with the King of Swords, this is about you being assertive and not allowing anything that is dishonest, that is without integrity, anything that is unjust to continue, or is you moving away from anything, like you deciding to cut something out, you're detaching. Yes, it's detaching, moving away from something that doesn't bring you emotional fulfillment, doesn't fill your cup, or something that you no longer want to give into emotionally. Maybe it's about you having to be a bit more emotionally available, maybe moving away from being so cold or detached, and moving away from that in some way. Having faith that you will always be protected. For you to trust your instincts, trust your intuition. Because I'm looking at the defense mechanism, the spiritual bath card. There's a shield there, And the King of Swords is someone who is detached, He doesn't allow his emotions to play any part in any of his decisions. He just looks at the facts. He's very cold and methodical in that way. They can say he's like a lawyer, a judge, somebody who has some sort of authority and plays it in a way where he doesn't allow his decisions or allow certain things to impact the decisions that he's making, like certain emotions, anything that really isn't based on fact or reality, But I feel like maybe that's what you're being called to do. That's one thing. But it could also be about you moving away from being so detached and emotionally unavailable and showing some type of emotional vulnerability. Maybe like your romantic side, the softer side of yourself too. That's another message. And that, you're allowed to show that side of yourself. You don't really have to be cold and detached and someone who is void of emotion, someone who doesn't show any type of care or concern for another person, or maybe you're moving away from someone who is cold and detached and isn't showing their emotions to you. So you're wanting to find some sort of peace, somewhere where you can feel like you can be your emotional self without judgment, without criticism, or feeling some sort of, I don't want to say shame, because I don't really think the King of Swords would shame anybody, but I think he would if somebody did them wrong. And they'll do so in a very, like I said, cold, detached. I keep saying cold and detached for some reason, but I feel like that's significant in some way. So maybe it's about you moving away from being cold and detached and moving into a more loving, emotionally expressive part of yourself or side of yourself. Because when you think about the magician has all his tools, but the King of Swords, he's only focusing on truth, justice, law and order, integrity. But the magician has all the tools. He has the sword, he has the wand, he has the cups, and he has the pentacles, But if you're really, if you're trying to manifest something, maybe not do so in a certain, like this way, this cold, detached way, like maybe you're thinking about manifesting something, but you're not allowing yourself to like imagine how it would feel like if you were to get it. Maybe you're just like, I want this, and taking methodical steps in some way, and you're not allowing your passion, your emotion, or even putting in effort, because the Pentacles is about effort too. You know, in order for you to get some reward, you have to put in some work. You know, not everything is handed to you. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's another thing, another way you can look at it too. All right, so let's move on to vacate. I think I spent too much time on that defense card. Vacate. Oh, the Eight of Cups flipped over. But I'm going to shuffle the cards and see what comes out. Let's see if that card, the Eight of Cups, comes out. Tell us more about vacate. Tell us more about vacate. Bad shuffle. That was a bad shuffle. What is going on? So if you like this video, if it resonates with you so far, like, share, subscribe. Okay. Tell us more about vacate. Got the Lovers at the bottom. Lovers at the dangerous zone. You know, Divinely Canadian Tarot. She always sings that. Okay, we got the Queen of Pentacles. 2222. Temperance, that's Sagittarius energy. It's about moderation, balance, restoration, grounding yourself, and the Five of Swords, which has to do with winning at all costs, competition, and the Lover's stayed at the bottom. That's interesting. So this may be involving a love situation. Let me put this deck down and put a stone to keep. Now let me look at this. Let's see. Here's the vacate card. I feel like it's about you taking a break away from conflict. You know. And I mentioned that earlier before we got into the tarot. Like you may be thinking about something, daydreaming about something. You know, maybe it's about time for you to take a break. You know, reconnect. It could be reconnecting with somebody else, with the Lovers, or it could just be you reconnecting with yourself. 2323 when I said that. Queen of Pentacles, that's 5-5. If you add them. Queen of Pentacles is someone who is nurturing, who invests in what she cares about, invests in herself. She takes care of herself. She also takes care of those around her, the people that she loves. She's nurturing. She's someone who is abundant and grows, has, I want to say grown. I want to say something. So maybe some of you have grown in some way. But anyway, with vacay, so some of you may be going on vacation, or may need to go on vacation, or maybe considering going on a vacation. And I think that it will probably do you some good, because it's going to allow you to really take care of yourself, balance yourself, ground yourself, ground your emotions, to get rid of what doesn't serve you, and, you know, really focus on nurturing what does serve you. And it's going to allow you to move away from any conflict, and if it's possible. And a vacation doesn't necessarily have to be like a trip. It doesn't have to be like a cruise, a long-term trip. It doesn't have to be a long trip. It could be something that, you know, you're just taking a break away from something. You separating, detaching, like with the Queen of Swords, detaching on the King of Swords, detaching from a situation that has been stressful. And you know, reconnecting with yourself, you grounding yourself, and, you know, and possibly looking at a situation that may have been full of conflict, and, you know, where someone has done or said something that kind of left you feeling bad, or you may have done something that left someone else feeling bad. Take it as it resonates. None of us are perfect, and it's okay. We're still worthy of love and respect. And anyway, so I think that's what this vacation is meant for you to do. It's about you being able to find some type of balance within yourself, and understand how you could even find balance within any situations that can be filled with conflict or drama, or just like shadiness in some way. So I feel like that's what's coming up. But when we have the Lovers coming up, so if it's a love relationship, let's see. I want to see what's underneath. Ooh. So some of you may be single and maybe are considering getting into a relationship. And So it may be something that you've been wanting to manifest or have been manifesting. It's something that you've probably kept hidden from others, something that you haven't really been talking about. Yeah. You may be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. King of Pentacles come up. Ooh, we had the Queen of Pentacles. So this could be somebody that is your match. So if you are in a relationship, maybe with someone who kind of matches you in some way. And it could be about you. You're currently single, though. You may be talking to somebody, and you know there may be some attraction, maybe some flirting going on, flirting messages and such. But it may be somebody's, you or them are trying to manifest a connection with you. It's probably something that hasn't been expressed overtly, maybe subtly, but it might be something that may be revealed over this month. Okay, so that's the side message. Right, so let's get some advice from the Moonology. I'm gonna timestamp these because just, you know, some people don't want to watch the whole thing, maybe want to see certain things. So spirit, angels, guides, messages. What messages does the collective need to know for Moonology? Messages, advice, guidance, impact life for the collective for their highest and greatest good for the month of May. Messages they need to know. Other messages to see for the highest and greatest good. Highest and greatest good spirit. Okay. Oh, we got 3 cards. I like to get 3 cards, but let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Emotions are running high, so some of you may be feeling very emotional at this time, or maybe there may be things that may be testing your emotions, making you emotional this month. And emotions can be a good thing, you know. It's a way for you to gauge how you're feeling about a situation, allows you to reflect on what exactly is going on around you that is causing you to feel certain emotions, so that you can help, you know, like really look within, try to figure out what you can do on your end to help relieve yourself, and see if there's anything that you need to get rid of that isn't serving you, and what you can do to help you as you're going through whatever situation is causing you to feel emotional. So it says be bold and make the first move. So if some of you are, you know, thinking about starting a business, starting some creative endeavor or something, you know, it's asking for you to be bold. Don't be afraid to make a move. Don't be afraid to start on the action. Stop hemming and hawing about something. Get off your behind and take some action, you know, just to get started, you know. A new romantic cycle begins. Now, if this has to do with a love situation, and if you're feeling a certain way about something or someone, it's important for you, you know, like maybe you can be bold and, you know, make them a first move, try to have a conversation about whatever it is you're feeling, you know, how you feel about your relationship. Are you going to take your relationship to the next level where a new cycle begins? And it's like, you know, like when you go into, like when you're in a relationship, it's going into that transitional phase where you're like friends and then you're becoming lovers. You know, that's a new beginning in that stage, you know, because the friendship stage is ending and now you're starting a lover's stage in a relationship. So that's a new beginning, you know, a new romantic cycle, right? But it could be just somebody completely new that you're meeting. And then your hard work is paying off. So whatever efforts that you have been putting towards something is going to yield results, but you have to, of course, remain consistent, you know, just to continue seeing those results. You know, don't rest on your laurels, basically. So, yeah, I'm going to leave the reading there. I hope this reading resonates with you all. If it does, in some way, somehow, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm wishing you a wonderful week, month, day ahead. Bye.